When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish, the podcast that wonders, is Gumby a twink?
He's hairless.
He's tall and skinny.
He's very lean.
Yeah.
He's old though, right? Like he was born in maybe the 60s.
Gumbionados, let us know. This is Kyle Getz, and we are here to bridge the gap between sexuality.
Kyle.
What? But you're not here yet because no one knows that you're here.
Oh, shh.
We are here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, you've already noticed that the other voice is not Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is busy having a fun birthday extravaganza in another country. So filling in for him as a guest co-host is fucking Dan.
Hi.
Now you're here.
Now
you're officially here.
I'm here. I'm queer. Get used to it.
Yeah. Fuckers.
Taking the show over.
Oh, boy.
It's Kyle's worst nightmare.
Is it too late to rethink this episode?
My first and last time co-host.
Thanks for filling in.
Of course, yeah. I'm excited about it.
We are going to talk about hate crimes.
Yeah.
Before we do that, though,
nice light episode topic.
Yeah, I mean Mike's gone, so we're going to get real dark and dirty.
Yeah.
In honor of Mike, though, I brought...
What the fuck is that?
It's a 24-ounce BBR. Is this what they call a tall boy?
Yeah.
Is
that extra tall boy?
I don't know. It's real thick.
Yeah.
Like, even you would have trouble taking this.
I feel like a regular can is 12. I feel like a normal tall boy is 16. And that's 24?
Yeah.
So that's like DP. And that's like two cans in one.
Dude, I like the comparing of like, is this like 1.5 dicks or okay? So in honor,
we both like extra tall boys.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, perfect. So in honor of you, Mike.
Here's
some beer. I don't know if I'm actually going to drink it or if it's just going to wait. It's going to look at us in the corner.
Yeah, we'll pour it out at the end.
Pour out one from a homie.
Yeah.
But first, oh man, it's so weird. It's so empty right then. I thought you were going to say, but first, because that's what Mike always does. You're no Mike. You can't be, wait, what's that quote that you're supposed to say when you're a manager? They can't be the same version of you, but they can be the best version of themselves. Are you motivated now? Is that the quote? Okay. But first, hang in there like a cat. Mondays, am I right? Okay. Thank you to Patreon members, Aaron, Sam,
Samwise. I don't know.
Who's
I'm trying
that?
to be Mike. It's like a Lord of the Rings reference, I think.
Oh boy. Wow. You're doing real good so far then. Florian Schmidt.
I got nothing. Florian.
No, this is really enjoyable.
Florian. The only
Florian in the machine.
I know is he had a macaron shop. He's like a famous French baker.
And Richard Anand or Anand. I had a friend who's the first. No. I had a first name who.
Dick Anonymous. What?
I'm not talking about your patron from last night.
Oh.
Thank you to everyone for your patronage. And if you
got his first name, by the way.
Ew, why? Why do you need that information? If you want to sign up for Patreon and get bonus segments and episodes, then go to patreon.com/Gayest. Thank you to everyone for supporting us. It's worth it. Give it to me. I'm worth it. Do you want to talk about hate crimes?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that forlorn sigh,
I'm gonna cry.
Okay. Cool. Well, you might. Well, I don't know. You might cry during mine, but you're talking about during yours.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing news. That's Mike's thing. I could never fill that void.
Nothing happened.
Nothing Everything was chill. We were all happy.
The Trump administration just took a week off from being garbage.
I did hear that two judges, like that thing Mike talked about, where they were like, healthcare providers, maybe if you're religious, don't worry about gay people. Like, just whatever, just kick them out. Or two judges like blocked that, and they were like,
good.
no, you can't. That's not a thing.
Oh wow.
So that's
also. I have a news item.
Oh, okay.
I put it on Instagram already, but that guy, I don't have the facts. Brian something Smith.
Doesn't matter.
He was the like hot cop on Sense8. He came out as gay, and he's gonna put his dick inside. Man, well, maybe not.
Have you seen the orgy scenes in Sense8?
I've seen season 1. I got a little. I didn't make it through season 2.
I didn't either.
It drags.
But, yeah. Oh no, I did. I did make it through all of it.
It's a little hard to watch. So
yeah. Yeah, that was like a rough storyline for him, and like,
and the cute Icelandic chick.
Yeah, man, if you're not bi, go watch that orgy scene, and you will become. Okay, hate crimes.
Hate crimes.
That was the no news section. Okay, okay,
we did it.
We did it.
Fuck you, Mike.
Mike, stay in Scotland. We don't need you. But but next, but after that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about hate crimes, and we're each going to tell one hate crime story. So we each did a little bit of research on a hate crime that we thought was particularly interesting, and we're going to tell each other those.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about Ronald Gay.
Oh.
So this is a story that I found a long time ago and have been sitting on this longer than I've been sitting on dicks. I'm like, have had this story, and like, this was a great opportunity to tell you about it. So before Pulse, the Washington Post says this that I'm about to talk about, this hate crime, is the last time someone successfully targeted a gay bar, which I don't like the word successfully targeted. That feels weird, but that's what they said. You did it. Game over.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, so I'm going to play you an audio clip from one of the survivors of this, Joel Tucker.
Oh, fuck.
This is from the StoryCorps podcast, which is an NPR podcast, episode 473.
Wow, you know your sources?
I just do that to annoy Mike.
That slash fiction really sunk in, I guess.
God, I'm ignoring that.
So where were you when you found out about the shooting in Orlando?
I cut on the TV in the morning that it happened, and everything that happened to me completely flooded back. My heart went out to those people so badly.
So that was him talking about his experience, like seeing on TV the Pulse Massacre happen and reliving this experience that I'm about to tell you about.
Wow.
So backing up, Ronald Gay was born in Canada. He moved to the U.S. when he was 18 to join the Marine Corps. He did one tour in Vietnam, and this like definitely had a big impact on the rest of his life, and I think contributed to what happened later. He was a gunner protecting convoys. I don't know much about the military. All of it sounds shitty, but and his brother talked about one day, one of his experiences, a truck blew up and his buddies were on it and he was in charge of picking up the body parts.
Oh God.
That if that doesn't fuck someone up, you're heartless.
Yeah. I don't know how your brain compartmentalizes that and what that does to the rest of your life. Like it's my dad did 2 tours in Vietnam.
Really?
And, like the last time we hung out, he actually like talked more about some of his experience there than kind of we've ever talked about it. And
oh wow,
I know he's got some trauma and it's affected him. Thankfully, he's not a psychopath.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and that's
real. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, and that's the point. That this is crazy and fucked up, and can't imagine dealing with it. Also, other people go through this and don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. There's a death in here. While he was in the military, though, apparently his comrades, I wouldn't use that word, but I don't know what your army pals are called. His cohorts, the other dudes in the bunk, taunted him about his last name and called him gay.
Yeah.
This
surprise.
Yep. This is the crux of it. Like, this is what happened to him. He was made fun of because of his last name, and this is why this intrigued me so much. Like, it's just because of his last name. It's his last name, and people made fun of him. Like, so this is when this is starting. I don't know why I feel the need to be fair to the Army, but Major David C. Anderson of the Marine Corps said that there was nothing in Ronald's. I'm going to call him Ronald because I don't want to call him gay the whole time. That feels weird.
Makes sense.
but Ronald's official record showed that he never complained about being harassed for his name, which
because the stigma of being the
yeah,
whiny
like you're
little
not
bitch
gonna
that runs to mommy about
that's
being
true.
picked on the
he would probably get called gay more.
Yeah, it's not gonna make it better.
No. So like that's just a silly. I mean, I guess you have to include that for objectivity, but it's just silly. So he came back from being in the war in 1969. He had always had a resentment about people making fun of his name. And in fact, 2 of his 3 sons, or as his brother said, at least 2 of his 3 sons, which I don't know why he doesn't know the exact number, had changed their last name because they were teased so much.
I was going to say, like, if you don't like your name, you can change it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's like, it's possible. People
Yeah,
do
it
all
is.
the time.
It's also shitty that like you would have to get teased so much that you change your name. Like that's, so connected to your identity. And
Yeah.
And
interestingly, if he had kids, it's likely he got married. And when you get married, it's like, my understanding is that's like an opportunity where I think it's easier to change your name at that time.
but for men,
I mean, it's certainly not in the 60s.
Yeah.
Men, he would probably get teased for taking his wife's last name.
Yeah. And you said if he got married, because you don't know. Oh boy, did he get married.
Oh.
5 times.
Wouldn't it be great if her last name was Man and they just hyphenated?
I wanted to be man gay. I know you
Ronald
meant
Gay Man.
I know you meant gay man, but I wanted to be man gay because I like that. Okay. And he took it really hard that at least 2 of his 3 sons changed their last name. His brother can't really recall, I guess. Some of the stories that people recounted afterwards were his stepfather said there was a time when Ronald got dressed up and was going to go to the White House to ask the president why the word gay was associated with homosexuals. And I don't think he actually did that, but it showed up several times of like him being annoyed and frustrated about the fact that his last name started to, during the time he was alive, become associated with like gay, with dude peen.
Yeah, but when he was born, it probably wasn't really a thing, and then or barely.
Yeah,
and weird that he would like his source of truth be, I'm gonna go talk to the president.
It's an insane plan.
Crazy.
Yeah, I
mean,
think after
when you don't have the internet, I guess that's what
I guess you just
back then. You just went
you
to the
either write a
president.
letter or you walk over to the president.
Dear Richard Nixon. Dear Dick Nixon.
Dear Dick Nix.
I hate my name. Do you hate your name?
You don't get it.
You can possibly understand.
So he walked down to 123 Pennsylvania White House Street and was like, hello. They're like, sure, this is not the right address.
Full facts.
You can't correct me because you're Mike.
Nope,
you just have to sit quietly and take it. You're good at that. Okay.
Quietly though?
Oh, that's, well, I don't know you. Yeah. Okay. So in the year 2000, things weren't great for him. Things didn't go well. He had a case of the Mondays for the year 2000. So it's like, cool, we survived the potential Y2K apocalypse. Like, that's great. But that was the best thing, I assume that happened to him. So he was 54, and he got divorced from his 5th wife. So apparently his now ex-wife, Laura Ramsey, had experimented with women in the past, and he didn't like that, even though she says that she was very upfront about it and he didn't seem to mind. She also said that she never got the sense that he was homophobic, and he would talk to her gay friends at parties, which is really interesting. She did remember that Ronald would make a point of commenting when the word gay was used on television to describe gay people, and he would say, they're using my name. So, I mean, I don't really trust her in this because, like, I mean, spoiler, I already said someone gets murdered, it's a gay person. Like, it's very clear he's homophobic. So, like, that's an insane thing for her to think or believe. But, so, got divorced. In April, he was burning his divorce papers, and he scorched his legs. So the ambulance had to come out and help him. In May, his house was destroyed in a fire by a clothes dryer.
You got to clean your lint traps.
Clean your lint traps.
And once a year, clean out that
and
tube
I'm
that
not
comes out.
talking about your butt.
Yeah. There's like a special brush, I think. And
oh, really?
Put it, like the That,
Wait,
like,
but are you
no. Well, I wish, but
just imagining a special brush like at the car wash, you know, those things that spin around. If we could get that one for like rectal use, that's just like,
it's like super soft, but
yeah,
like, man,
just like
that'd be
insert and
nice.
spin.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It feels so good.
wait, what were you saying? Something real?
remember
Okay.
anymore.
Oh, lint trap.
Oh, well, yeah.
Can you really get a brush to clean out lint traps?
Not the lint. So there's like the lint trap, but then a certain amount of lint and like debris makes it past that.
Yeah.
And ends
I
up
always stick my finger in and go around and get out everything else that's
Find
in
that
there.
one spot and just like press there.
And then I have to pee.
Yeah. But the tube that comes off your dryer that like goes to usually to the outside through a vent that like blows air. I don't know in a condo where the fuck it goes, but at my house it shoots out the back door basically.
You just have a like pile of lint in your backyard?
No. There's a lint trap, but then there's this tube, and probably some amount makes it out that way. But you want to like use a special brush or have someone come to your home and like clean that out. I think it's once a year just to make sure that lint doesn't build up in there that then could catch fire.
Shit! All this time I thought I was cleaning my lint trap. There's a second chamber. Okay. So shit's going bad. House burns down.
Butts. We were talking about butts.
Look, I wasn't. So later that same year, his ex-wife Laura said that he forced his way into her home, and he was demanding to see their 4-year-old son, even though she had custody and he had signed something that said such. He was upset about it, and after that, so when he left, he said, "I'll come back and blow you all away."
Oh.
A judge
Foreshadowing.
Do no danger, watch out. It's not really foreshadowing if I say someone dies. Like that's just kind of like directly. Okay.
Yeah.
Should have built more of an air of illusion, or does someone die?
Maybe everyone survives.
It's the
A hate
president.
crime, someone doesn't have to die for it to
That's
be a hate
true.
crime.
That's true. In this case, someone does. So a judge issued a protective order requiring him to turn over his guns and ammunition. He was ordered to get a mental health evaluation. It is unclear if he ever did. There are so many failure points in this story.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts all the way at the beginning of like, it's shitty that people made fun of him.
Yeah.
He was in the war, had to deal with shitty stuff. He had this like clearly violent behavior, and I don't get how you can. He was ordered a mental health evaluation. I don't get how you can like, maybe did. I don't know. Like no one like that. That seems like you have to like, if a judge orders a thing, don't you have to do it and prove you
get a parking
did it?
ticket, you pay it, or else, right?
Yeah.
Or else you can get arrested.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately.
That I'm not paying my parking tickets in hopes that a sexy cop will show up at my door, and then I have the music cued, and it's gonna go bow, 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 bow.
Did you scour through the Instagram of that handsome Dr. Donahue?
Gentleman that is coming to Seattle that we're going to try to see if yes I did.
Did you see his Halloween costume?
No.
In like a cop uniform?
Oh yeah. I did.
It's great. It's like from like 10 years ago, and he's like, this was before I like realized how fucked up the criminal injustice system is.
God.
And like I liked what you wrote about it. And he's like, and now feel free to sexualize me.
You said that he likes, what's his name?
Chris Donahue, I think. Yeah.
Dr.
Chris Donahue.
Yeah.
Tattoos. Handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Woke.
So woke.
I hate that word.
I do too. So he very clearly had PTSD. So that was something everyone kind of recognized and knew, but he couldn't get his meds, which is another failure point. Like so many people are like, yeah, war, that's cool, support the troops. And then like they need shit afterwards. And it's like, his family knew he had mental problems, and they were expecting for something to go wrong, perhaps suicide.
So kind of like hope the best case scenario for his family was that maybe he'll just kill himself.
Okay.
I mean, fuck. Wow.
Wait, I have a thing on this. Oh, yeah. So his brother, Bill Gay, said, I can't help but to think about all those innocent people. If he had just done away with himself, it would have been better.
Fuck. Do you think his brother's middle name was like Brandon Will be Gay?
Oh, cute. I want to name a kid that and be like, you're a faggot.
I'm
Bill?
a fucking faggot, sir.
Okay, so now we are at Friday, September 22nd, later in his terrible year. He checked into a hotel that night in Roanoke, Virginia, which is where he lived. He actually talked to the people in the room next to him, introduced himself. He apparently drank and talked to them and told this couple that he was talking to that he was going to go out for a Big Mac and watch some fireworks. He gave one of them his room key and said if he wasn't back by the morning, they could have everything in there. And it also said if he didn't come back to watch the news.
Ooh.
Yeah. One of the people.
Red flag.
Yeah, just
red
a lot
flag.
of so much. Apparently, one of those people said he looked at me and winked and grinned, which is a creepy idea. He was wearing a black trench coat. He went to a restaurant nearby, asked directions to a gay bar. And someone pointed it out, and he said he wanted to shoot, like, here's a near one in Backstreet Cafe. And he said he wanted to shoot the gays, and he showed him a gun. So, and then left to presumably walk to the place. They called the police then.
Oh, thank God. I was like, is this another failure
Well,
point?
yeah, it didn't help really. So, but apparently for days he had been making threats about shooting gays.
Wow.
Yeah. So minutes after that interaction, he walked into the Backstreet Cafe, which is a local gay bar. He ordered a beer. I read a little bit about the Backstreet Cafe. It's one of, it seemed like many gay bars, a safe haven for people to go hang out, be themselves. And it even said that people, not just for people in Roanoke, but people in Eastern Central Appalachia were willing to drive hours to go to this bar so that they can be accepted. And another one of the gay bars nearby.
Did you ever see that movie Small Town Gay Bar?
No. I've seen that show up on Netflix though.
Yeah, it's a great little documentary about that sort of. It's very different from my own experience, where like I kind of always was close to like gay, even as a kid, like gay. Oh. Like Lambert House in Seattle, which is a gay youth drop-in center, and like dance clubs. There was like gay areas and that sort of thing. So I haven't had that experience myself, but like in like Appalachia and like like literally you drive hours to the one gay bar where everyone from all over meets up, and like that's the one place you can be yourself. And,
which and we have a lot of listeners that live in rural or less populated areas that have said that same thing to us of like, we don't like, I don't have, there is that joke Mike has made about like, well, there's one other gay, so I guess I'll fuck that guy. Like someone like wrote in and was like, yeah, that's true. Wow. And so like, yeah, that like to not have that and then have this bar where you can go and it's worth hours to drive to
get laid. Yeah.
I was going to say to feel accepted and loved, but you're the same thing.
Oh yeah. I guess I've driven hours to get a dick.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Any whomsels. So back to the horror. So
horror.
This guy is a whore.
So he went in the bathroom. He got fucked by like 30 dudes.
And this is the story of fucking Dan.
Oh wait.
Oh, different story, different papers. Hold on.
Ronald Gay.
Okay, Ronald. So he walks into the Backstreet Cafe. He sits down. He orders a beer. He sees Danny Overstreet, who's 43, and his friend John Collins hug each other. And he stood up calmly and fired 8 shots from a 9mm handgun. Danny Overstreet was killed. 6 other people were injured in the shooting, and a couple people that were there in the bar. I have some things that like quotes that they said to the newspaper. Sue Stroud said that she remembers fire coming out of the muzzle, ducking, bullets whizzing overhead. She was watching people she knew drop to the ground. And a lot of this is being written when Orlando happened to like hear other similar events. Right. So she was saying, she said, quote, "What happened in Orlando, I feel violated all over again. For someone to violate that safe space so tremendously." Another person, Anna Sparks, said she was also at the bar. She said she froze when the gunman opened fire. Quote, "The guy was standing there with a trench coat on and the gun was going pop, 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 and people were falling over everywhere, trying to get behind booths. He just stood there for a couple seconds, then lowered the gun and walked out like nothing happened." Ugh. So it was just minutes later he was arrested and charged with murder.
God.
I It's horrible. I cannot picture this. So like, I just can't imagine nowadays. Like I'd like walk around and think to myself, like, I'm at a mall or I'm at a movie theater, or like whatever, but I just can't, like, descriptions of people falling down, like your friends. It's insane. Yeah. One of the people, Joel Tucker, who is the same guy that I played earlier. Oh, yeah. He is one of the people that was injured. He was 40 at the time. And here is what he said, still on that StoryCorps podcast.
He pulled a 9mm out of his coat and just started shooting. Danny was killed. And I reached back behind my back because I felt a stinging, and there was blood all over my hand. They took me to the hospital, and I was not out at all with anyone. The newspaper called in my room, and I was so paranoid and scared that I said something that I wish I would have never said, and that was that I was not gay and I was straight and I was there with my girlfriend. They put my address in the paper, and I was so afraid that I would be washing my dishes. It was a wooded area out from my kitchen. I thought, oh my God, somebody's going to shoot me through the window because they know exactly where I live. I went back to work on Monday with the bullet still in my back.
Jesus.
Which it's like comparing mass murders is a weird, like that's not, but just being gay adds a level of complication to this of I'm in a gay bar. It is, however many 2000. I'm like, in my mind, it's so long ago that like these
almost 20 years.
Yeah. But like, and the news, if the news prints my name, which it did, like it outed several people that were there injured.
And then put them in danger again.
And now you have to be not only afraid because like this is the fucking traumatic event that it is. Now I'm also worried that it's beyond that now people know I'm gay, and it's even
I could lose my job. My family could just so my whole entire life could fall apart. Yeah, on top of
because
I have a fucking
I was
bullet
shot.
in my back.
Yeah, and he said at the end there he had a bullet in his back, and this was Friday, and he went into work on Monday because he was so scared that he would he can't admit I was in a gay bar and I was got shot. So Ronald confessed to the shootings. Shortly after the attack, one of the police officers there said that Ronald told him he was shooting people to get rid of, in his terms, faggots. He had...
Only we can use that word.
Yeah, Ronald, that's the one flaw in your plan. There'd been a bunch of other crazy stuff that he had said, and I think he sent stuff to the papers and but I don't know the timing of this, but other things he had said is that he was on a mission to make all gay people move to San Francisco to stop the spread of AIDS, which in the 2000 again, all of this is saying in the 2000s, we knew stuff. We did. This was not the surprise, what's going on here, disease. Anyway, that's wow. And he had said that he'd been told by God to find homosexuals and, quote, blow them away.
That sounds like God. That checks out. Yeah.
God, well, that's pretty much God's MO, right?
I've read the Old Testament, and it's pretty it's genocide after genocide. It's basically the Old Testament. It's like
me playing SimCity, and I'm like, I fucked all these things up. Everyone destroyed. New houses, new people. So he pled guilty to first-degree murder and 6 counts of malicious wounding. I read so many articles about this. No, we're talking about hate crime. This is very clearly a hate crime.
Yeah. He even said his motives were hate.
Specifically what he was doing.
A protected class. Well, maybe not at that time in that place. I don't know.
Well, and that's I did not read in any of the articles about it actually being categorized as a hate crime, because the point would be this is a hate crime, so you could get added sentencing or whatever the fuck because of this, and nothing said that. So my suspicion based on that is that it was not categorized as that or tried as that or something. I think he's serving for why did I not write this part down? He's serving for in a line. Nope. Different separate he does one after another.
Consecutive 4
Concurrent.
consecutive.
Consecutive. Thank you. Yes.
Concurrent is at the same time
Yes.
running in parallel.
I
Yeah.
get you. I knew that.
You
He's
totally knew that.
I did. It's
Could
just
see it
the
in your
2
face. You were
words.
just testing me.
This is the real time testing that you got to get used to when you're hosting, Dan.
Hot
The
seat.
difference between what'd you say?
The hot seat. It's the hot
You
seat.
said hot seed. Okay.
Oh, well,
Okay.
maybe later.
Yeah. So he's serving 4 of those sentences that you said.
Back to back to back.
Back to back to back. Okay. So
To back. 4? Yeah.
yeah. Same guy from the beginning, guy that got shot in the fucking back. Joel Tucker said, quote, "I learned you've got to get up and you've got to keep moving and not let this destroy your life. This could have destroyed me and it did not. It made me stronger."
That's, wow. Greater man than I to be able to go through that and like
What?
pull through and pull yourself up. What did you guys say in a few episodes ago? Pull yourself up by your jockstrap.
Yes, exactly. We all could use a lesson from sexy capitalism. Like the thing that's like crazy to me is, I mean, I understand where it's coming from, but like him being like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't said I was there with a girlfriend. I wish I hadn't like," and that's like, I get that feeling. We all have that feeling of like, shit, like, why wasn't I out earlier? Or maybe not all of us, but I at least do. Like, why was I not out earlier? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And then like his case is so clearly like, you had to survive. Like,
Right, yeah.
They're like,
There's clear evidence, the bullet in your back,
Yes,
that where you lived, you were at danger of being shot, and you were shot for being gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in this case, for being in a gay bar.
Yeah.
I mean, very well could have, like, there could have been straight
Apparently,
people in that gay bar that got shot.
one
like,
of the newspapers said that there were non-gay people that were injured, but I also don't know if that's because people were closeted and set. You know, I don't know what that is, but
I believe at the Pulse shooting too, it was a mix of orientations that were there and that were killed and injured.
Yeah. It's just like,
it just makes sense. There's probably a fucking bridesmaid party there.
I wouldn't mind if they got murdered. No, I
Mouth
shouldn't say
agape.
that. Yeah.
I should say, we're talking about murders and hate crimes, and they're horrible. And like, I was almost in tears. I was in tears listening to Kyle. I was in tears when I wrote my own story. Like, this stuff is really fucking sad and really horrible and really hard to fathom. And it's very normal to cope with that by cracking jokes, to like break that tension, to get back to like a point where I can function and tell my story that's coming up. And so if you think that we're being inappropriate because we're snickering a little bit, or we're having to crack jokes to get through this, I invite you to try it, or to fuck right off, because this is hard, and this is human. This is how people deal with this stuff, and I think these stories are important to share, and knowing our history and knowing what's happened to people in our community is important. And but we got to get through this, and we also have to fucking be entertaining. This is a podcast. I think we're a comedy podcast technically.
And now I'm gonna do a tap dance. Yeah, da, 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 da. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's like my entire thing of like growing up, being depressed, being in the closet, being like everything that like what I have learned to get through stuff is making jokes. And like, that's how I get through uncomfortable situations. That's how I get through shitty things that have happened to me. Like, that's just how I deal with it. And that may not be everyone's style, but then like, then this is not for you. So I can understand.
Wait for our next episode.
Wait for the next episode when we'll talk about something lighter, like, I don't know, abortions or something.
It's not abortion.
It's not
abortion.
abortion.
Anxiety though.
Oh, great.
Is
That'll
that
be
the next
uplifting.
one? Or is it fruits?
I don't remember.
know. Yeah.
Something good.
And if you didn't think fucking Dan was going to tell morbid jokes, you don't fucking know me at all.
And we're getting to learn more about you right now.
No. I'm a garbage person.
No, you're not. You're beautiful on the inside.
That's what I've been told. I can't see from that angle. Other people said the gape is gorgeous.
This is your new tagline. The gape is gorgeous. Mind the gape. Okay.
T-shirt idea.
T-shirt. Do you want to tell me your thing?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm tempted to make a jab at you, but I'm not going to.
Oh, why not? That's what Mike would do.
So I'm going to frame my story by talking first about the victims rather than talking all about the murderer.
I have no response to that.
No.
I did lead with fuck off. I led with a victim talking about a survivor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go sit on your own dick.
Okay.
If you could.
If I could, I would.
Okay. Go.
I'd like
You
to
can
tell
talk
you about the murders of Michelle Abdill, Roxanne Ellis, and Scott George.
Okay.
So Roxanne Ellis was divorced with 2 children and living in Colorado Springs, Colorado, working at an obstetrics nurse at a doctor's office. This is in late 80s, early 90s. Michelle Abdill.
I was born in the late 80s.
Fuck
You were like 30 or something, right?
I was in high school.
Yeah, you were a late bloomer. Went to high school at the age of 30. And you might graduate someday.
Someday. Fingers crossed.
Hang in there.
Just got to get through that physics class.
I hated physics so much.
I didn't even take it in high school, which became my downfall.
We had this insane physics teacher that one time in the middle of class, he went sock check, jumped on the table, pulled up his pants to show SpongeBob SquarePants socks. And then he walked around to everyone and looked at their socks. Physics. I don't know.
That sounds inappropriate.
Okay, sorry. Keep going about whatever sad thing you're going to say.
Michelle Abdill, she got a job at the same doctor's office, and the 2 of them fell in love and later became life partners. So lovely story. They were experiencing...
The end.
Unfortunately, they started experiencing increasing homophobia in Colorado. I remember at that time, Colorado, there was a lot going on there. And they moved to Medford, Oregon in 1990. In Medford, they spent their spare time restoring their old craftsman-style house. They would do visits to Ellis's granddaughter. They ran a property management business, and they also worked as activists. They were fairly public as activists. And
this is the most lesbian life you've ever described.
God, yeah. There's a truck too coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's just so lesbian.
Yeah. And notably, they worked to fight against 2 Oregon state ballot initiatives that happened in 92 and 93. And this is kind of why I picked this story, because I came out in January of 92 to my parents. I was already out to my friends. And then in June of 92, I came out to my whole school. I did a video project for my junior English class. And at the end of the video, I was making out with this super dreamy bisexual goth boy named James that I had a huge crush on. Maybe not the best way to come out, but it was no good ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah, there's no good way. You just did it. I'm very impressed and proud that you came out and like, there's not going to be a good way. There's not going to be a perfect way. Like, good for you. That's so awesome and brave to do that, especially in high school. So.
Yeah, in 92 in Everett, Washington. And so the reason I picked this story is I remember vividly those initiatives, and in particular the guy that was behind them. This founder of the Oregon Citizens Alliance, another one of those ostensibly Christian groups. So this guy Lon Mabon, complete piece of garbage. And in 93, which was my senior year of high school, the OCA, the Oregon Citizens Alliance, they introduced ballot measures in Washington as well. They were from Oregon, but they somehow found, anyway, they bent the rules or found somebody from Washington to do this. And those ballot measures would have threatened the employability of people who were perceived to be LGBTQ. Complete garbage. Thankfully, this grassroots effort called Hands Off Washington was organized, and it was huge, and it thankfully stopped these. I can't remember if it stopped them from ever even getting on the ballot or if it just stopped it. They did not pass in Washington. I had a Hands Off Washington sticker on my my Chrysler LeBaron, I believe is what I drove back then.
I don't know what that is.
It's a sedan, a very boxy 90s sedan.
My first car was a Pontiac Bonneville.
Oh,
I
don't know what that is.
It was
Is it a big
white
car?
and
You're
plain.
from
No,
Texas?
no, actually, it was a sedan. We had a station wagon, a brown station wagon, and my mom was like, "Don't make the kids drive that." And my dad was like, "Why?" They'll just because it was like older.
Oh.
And my mom was just like, did not let my dad give us the brown station wagon.
I love station wagons. Like my first car was a Volkswagen Bug, which I crashed, and then I inherited my mom's Chrysler LeBaron, which I dented.
Okay.
And then ultimately, I think it was like before I went away to college, my parents kept sort of just like, as they traded up cars, they would just like pass along to me and like sell whatever I had. And I ended up with a Mercury Tracer wagon, which was my favorite car. I treated that thing. I don't think I changed the oil for like 4 years the entire time I was in college, and it still like just drove. And now I have a Subaru Forester. I just love.
You didn't crash the last one?
Actually I didn't.
That you have to think about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think I did. Anyway, I digress.
Mhm.
So the story's sort of. I didn't know these people. I don't remember this story back then per se, but like I remember this time vividly. It was. One could call it peak gay for me. Like my parents were starting a P-flag group in their in their area to help other parents. Like after they came to terms very quickly with my gayness, and they were marching in pride parades back then. And I was in like youth groups, and like I was forming my gay identity at a time when like I went to school with skinheads, and being openly homophobic was like not that looked down upon, you know, and it was very normal for ballot measures to be being put on things. So
unfortunately, not so different.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like that.
It's
very
changed,
different time for sure.
Yeah. Like now, thankfully, as you guys talked about, I think in last episode or the one before, about like, you know, Democratic presidential candidates get called out for not just like anti-gay past history, anti-trans past history, like, which is great. Like, you know, be accountable. I also wanted to be real clear about what the OCA was trying to do. This Measure 9, one of the two that they were doing, it was going to add the following text to the Oregon Constitution. All governments in Oregon may not use their monies or properties to promote, encourage, or facilitate homosexuality, pedophilia, sadism, or masochism. All levels of government, including public education systems, must assist in setting a standard for Oregon's youth, which recognizes that these behaviors are abnormal, wrong, unnatural, and perverse, and they're to be discouraged and avoided. So this was one of the patterns in a lot of these measures is like they throw homosexuality in with things that are already illegal.
Just like you put the word next to other words, and didn't you say this was a Christian group doing this?
Ostensibly,
pedophilia, like that's the pot calling the kettle a child fucker. Like that's
anyway. Yeah. And so Measure 19, the other one in Oregon, was going to restrict library access to materials related to homosexuality, couched in this like anti-pornography, like let's protect children from pornography, but like, oh, your definition of pornography apparently includes anything related to homosexuality. I see what you're doing there, you pieces of shit. But somehow any kind of straight relationship is not, that's just to them natural. So it's just like, and it's like says so much about people that they assume gay, like just gay alone is now porn and sex. Like why is that what you think? Like, okay, don't talk to Dan, these people, because that will just confirm your beliefs. But, you know, No. There are plenty of heteronormative gay people out there that will change your opinion about what gay people are if you think they're all like me. All right. So enough about me. Jump forward a little bit here to 1995, and 27-year-old Robert James Acremant lived in Stockton, California. He was a former Air Force. He was former Air Force. I don't know what position he held exactly. He had an MBA from Golden Gate University in San Francisco. So not a complete fuck up, arguably. In May of that year, he quit a $4K a year job at Roadway Trucking in LA. He began drinking heavily, a lot of this had to do with he basically blew all his money on a stripper in Las Vegas that he was trying to like woo, that he was like in love with.
Wow.
In quotes.
I hope she was beautiful.
She must have been. But she rejected his advances. He was kind of like crushed by like, he felt like this business degree was getting him, it was a waste of time and it wasn't getting him anywhere and he couldn't find work and now he was broke and he like, you know, maxed out his credit cards trying to like win this girl's heart and driving to Las Vegas to see her. And so he wasn't in a great place.
That's what heterosexuality does to you people.
Yeah. This is my view of heterosexuality.
Yeah.
Strippers.
Yeah.
And
Trying to woo.
And MBAs.
That's so straight. You're right.
Yeah, bro.
So,
jumping ahead now to December 4th of 1995, Roxanne, she went to an appointment. Remember, they ran a property management business, the two of them. She went to an appointment with Robert Acremant to show him either a townhouse, a duplex, or an apartment, depending on which article you read. Yeah. Hooray for facts.
Yeah.
I
want you to write into the papers and be like, hello, you don't know me, but I am fucking Dan. And I would like to correct this on your paper.
There was other like things where I was like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Like, was it 4 days or 3 days?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, so Roxanne Ellis, she called her daughter Lori around 4 p.m. to tell her she was going shopping, supposedly. Some of this apparently was... there was a lot of like allegedlys and
yeah.
Michelle, Roxanne's partner, back then marriage wasn't a thing yet illegally. They were life partners though, so I'm tempted to just call her wife. But Michelle left the office at 5 p.m. She had heard that Roxanne needed a jump start, and so she was headed to go meet her at that townhouse. And later on, Roxanne's daughter drove over to the apartment complex where this all was supposedly happening, and she saw her mom's pickup there. So Roxanne had a pickup truck. Checks out.
Yep.
And then while she was like, before she could go like say anything or do anything, the pickup pulled away when she tried, and like she tried to follow it but couldn't.
That's weird.
And that was the last anyone saw of them.
Wait, does she know if they were in the pickup truck?
It didn't
Does she
say.
know who? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because, so, you know, they go missing. Friends and family are putting up missing persons flyers. They're, you know, they reach out to the police. And ultimately they weren't seen again until their bodies were discovered. Here it goes. Sorry. I'm such a crier. Roxanne and Michelle were not seen again until their bodies were discovered 3 days later, maybe 4 days, depending on which paper he read, in the back of Roxanne's pickup truck after a cable TV worker reported the vehicle to the police. So he saw like a vehicle in a weird spot, thankfully reported it. What the police found was the women had been bound, gagged, and blindfolded with duct tape and shot twice in the head. They were then wrapped in drapes and covered in cardboard boxes. And so... filling in the story a little bit here, Acremant had cornered Roxanne.
And this is the guy that they were showing the condo townhouse thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when Roxanne was showing him the condo, supposedly he like cornered her, asking her to write a check because he needed money for his stripper girlfriend that wasn't really his girlfriend. She refused. He then like held her at gunpoint, lured Michelle to the townhouse under the guise of like that Roxanne needed a jump start.
Oh, fuck.
And then moved them to this second location away from the apartment, which is when the daughter saw the pickup truck drive away.
So he was in there with them at that, like, presumably.
All three of them
like
were in the pickup truck.
Oh my God, that's so close. That's like,
Yeah, to like literally see your mom drive away in a truck that you now know was like the murderer was in, and that's so something
fucked. You could never have thought of or planned, but like late in retrospect, that must be horrifying to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he took him to that second location, forced him to lie down in the back of the truck, and then shot them both in the head.
I'm getting like chills. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna cry. At the time of their murders, Roxanne was 53 and Michelle was 42, and they'd been together for 12 years. So Acremant was arrested over a week later. He had gone back to Stockton, California, and the SWAT team found him there. He was then taken back to Medford, where he admitted to killing Roxanne and Michelle, but at the time claimed it was a botched robbery, that he was just trying to get money for his stripper girlfriend. The claim was he wanted to spend the money on Alla Kazova, this stripper. Alla said, during his trial, that he was nothing but one of my best customers, quote unquote, quote, one of my best customers, end quote, but that he had spent thousands of dollars attempting to woo her. He also at that time admitted to the murder of 23-year-old Visalia man Scott George, who was a family friend.
That just came
out of nowhere, right?
What?
Yeah. So this, prior to murdering Roxanne and Michelle, he was driving around in his truck with a family friend, Scott George, who was like showing him around town. And later I'll explain sort of why this happened, but he shot him in the head. He threw up. The guy who got shot threw up. He got mad at him for throwing up and shot him again.
Oh my God.
And this was sort of out of the blue, like just reached down. He had just put a silencer on his gun, and like some of the reports where he claimed he just wanted to see how that worked, and like just had this impulse.
Got mad at him for throwing up.
Yeah. And then he dumped the body down a mine shaft on his father's ranch. And so, yeah, this stuff he admitted to, like, yep, killed them, also killed this, by the way, BT Dubs, killed this other random dude.
Yeah.
You might as well know that now. So at the time of his arrest, he said he wanted to be executed by lethal injection. Then a month later, he pleaded not guilty. And ultimately, his lawyers filed motions to overturn Oregon's death penalty. Which, yeah, good try.
They're really aiming high on that one.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
How did he plead not guilty? Is it insanity or otherwise?
Otherwise, I believe at that time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so on December 20th, 1995, he was arraigned for the charges were aggravated murder, kidnapping, and robbery. In interviews, so he did interviews with the Oregonian newspaper, and he said, quote, "I couldn't help but think that she's 54 years old and had been dating that woman for 12 years. Isn't that sick? That's someone's grandma, for God's sake. Could you imagine my grandma a lesbian with another woman? I couldn't believe that. It crossed my mind a couple of times. Lesbo grandma. What a thing, huh?" He added that somehow during the conversation at the townhouse, it came out that she was lesbian. It came out that she had a partner that was 12 years younger than her, that they've been, together for like a long time. He added that learning that the women were lesbians, quote, made it easier, end quote, to kill them. But he claimed the motive was robbery at that time still. During another interview from jail, he just got an urge to kill them that he knew, quote, "If I ever get desperate, I could always go shoot people and just take what they got. It's the American way," end quote. Yeah, he's a real piece of work. When asked what he liked about murder, he said...
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
When asked what he liked about murder, that's a weird...
That's
Diane
a leading
Sawyer,
question.
come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you stopped beating your wife? Anyway, leading question, but when he was asked if he liked what he liked about murder, he said, quote, "It's not a like feeling. It's maybe a little relieving. It's interesting. It's no different than shooting not children.
Oh gosh.
Shooting your chicken that just lost in a cockfight, or putting your sick dog to sleep, or shooting at tin cans. I really haven't cared about people my whole life," end quote. Yeah, jury sentenced him to death October 27th, 1997. Remember that date,
Okay.
October 27th, 1997. So that's when the jury sentencing happened. Prior to that, however, August 8th, 1996, he wrote a letter to his hometown newspaper, the Stockton Record. And in it, he admitted the murders of Roxanne and Michelle were because he found out they were lesbians, and that the murder of Scott was because Scott George was because he had made a pass at him. He said, quote, "Originally, I was nervous about inmate reactions to my reasoning for killing, in that they were hate crimes against bi and homosexuals, so I invented the money motive. Now, I just don't care what people think, including the jury. They can kill me for all I care. I've never liked life anyway," end quote.
Ooh, that's like
So this is
dark for so
pre-sentencing.
many.
Yeah. So he like literally in text said these were hate crimes. He admitted in text this is a hate crime against bi and homosexuals.
Jesus, lawyers kind of missed the boat on that one. They were too busy trying to overturn the Constitution or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, that sounds very gay panic defense-y to be like he hit on me. Like
he also threw out the classic like, well, I was molested when I was a kid. So are a lot of people, asshole.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you get a free pass to murder people. No. In a follow-up interview with the Stockton Record, he also said, quote, "I've known bisexual women, and that's cool. I have no problem with that. I have no compassion for lesbians or bisexual or gay men. I can't deal with it," end quote.
That is
some standard.
It's only because you watch porn and think it is hot. When you're attracted to something, then you get it and you don't care. But then when it's something, the same thing, but with two dudes, you're like, wait, but I'm not attracted to that. So now it's gross. And it's just so in straight people logic. Yeah. Like that is how many straight people hate homosexuality, but also watch tons of lesbian porn,
Not me.
No, I've never. I was trying to think. I've watched porn where ladies are involved, but
yeah, I've probably watched lesbian porn. Knowing me,
I think I have.
I watch a lot of porn. I used to.
At some point.
Now I don't actually that much.
Now you live porn.
Kind of. Mostly I cam when I want to get off. I don't look at porn.
That's so.
I watch people live jerking off or fucking live or whatever.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, you're lost. So like. It's pretty clear this was a hate crime.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of straight up admits
it.
And in a press release on August 21st, like after this letter came out, but before jury sentencing, the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, who had already requested a U.S. Justice Department investigation of the case as a hate crime, said, quote, "This story is not about Robert Acremant and his demons. It is about Roxanne and Michelle and their deaths. They were intentionally and methodically executed by a killer who admits to destroying them because they were lesbians. The evidence in this case and the larger social and political climate for gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgender people speaks to the constant threat of hate-motivated violence perpetuated against us all," end quote. And reports of the time indicated Oregon police were skeptical of his confessions in the letter that the murders were hate-fueled. Like, they didn't believe this new letter, and so they didn't bother, like...
So this wasn't tried, like, as a hate crime?
Yeah.
That's... I mean, both of these cases, it's insane because they said it. Like, they just straight up say it.
Yeah.
Straight. It's insane that they're not tried as such.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's the fucking bar?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, in one of these articles, which I didn't copy this, but like the bar is not that the only reason they killed them was they were gay. It's that a component of the reasoning for killing was that they were a protected class of citizen. Like, and what I don't know is if at this time in Oregon, like in wherever they where it was in Medford, Oregon, was being lesbian part of any like protections, any hate crime. It may have been limited to like race or religious, whatever. I don't know that. Mike would have known that, but you're stuck with me.
Mike will be sending in a correction via voicemail
hopefully
shortly.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should do. We should send him the raw tape and have him listen and be like that. Call in with his corrections. Like, how do you guys know so little about law? We're not political science majors, Mike.
Yeah,
that's why I know how to say bonobos and you don't.
Oh, it's bonobos.
Bananas.
That's really cool. That like there are so many stories that we don't hear about, or at least I don't hear about people like the people you're talking about that are Roxanne and Michelle, like fighting for rights and equality, and we owe so much of protections and legal change and social change to people that we don't always hear about. So that's really cool that you talked about that, and shitty that we had to lose such strong advocates.
Yeah.
Check out Making Gay History, the podcast that tells you all about all the gay history you might not know about, and all the people, interviews. It's so great. It's interviews with all. Have you?
I haven't listened. Making Gay History.
Yeah, it's like it should be required listening for like people have in the past said, oh, like you're teaching me about LGBT stuff, and I don't. That makes me so nervous because please don't don't do that's if that's what you think we're doing here. Please don't.
But
well, we say some stuff, but then we say other stuff, and so this is like a guy interviewing people that were involved in equal rights and like involved in Stonewall and involved in all of these things that you may not know about. And it's like firsthand interviews with these people, people that created the Mattachine Society, people. Yeah. Oh, you'll be sobbing.
Be crying.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I'll have to like balance it with some like Big Fatty and
yeah. Or cut an onion while you're doing it. Blame it on that. But yeah, it's so good. Definitely listen to that. But
so a couple more things.
Oh, right.
So in January of 2011, so he's on death row. He's he's in the Oregon State Penitentiary. His sentence was reduced to life in prison without parole because he was diagnosed as delusional and unable to aid in his appeals. So they can't give the death penalty to someone who's like apparently hearing voices and cuckoo crazy and like, so I don't know if that mental illness was already in place before or if it developed while he was in prison.
That's a weird conundrum but if that's a new thing, if that wasn't at the time, that's okay.
Yeah. Interestingly, as of 2011, that was when he was being tried he was being sentenced for the murder of Scott George, and so he remained on death row at that time because that was again like
the other murder.
Other murder, yeah.
Oh, stay here because you have a whole nother murder that we had to figure out.
Yeah, Jesus. So fucked up. And so this is why remember that the first conviction sentencing happened on October 27th, 1997.
You sound not super confident.
I'm scrolling at October 27th, 1997.
Okay.
So just this, just over a year ago on October 26th, 2018. So one day short of 20 years to the day from when he was sent away for the murders of Roxanne and Michelle, he was found dead in his solitary cell during a routine morning check. So there's no one else had access to him. I guess, guards could, but, he wasn't in a cell with anybody else. A spokeswoman, Tanya Gushard for the correctional facility, said there was nothing suspicious that we know of, just dead. And I tried so hard to figure out like any follow-ups on that, and I could not find a single article that followed up and once they found the cause of death. They kept saying like cause of death is being investigated.
So you don't know, like it doesn't say anything about like, and there was a noose around his neck, or
I'm assuming that there was nothing suspicious. Indicates that like maybe he had a heart attack or I don't know. And
his real name is Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know. Is that a reference to something I should know?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the pedophile that like quote unquote committed suicide while he was in solitary while he was playing solitarity. I can't do that.
His body was covered with bruises,
it's something like they like lost camera footage and like there are all these things that are like he did not kill himself. Like other people killed him because he'd be really damaging to like particularly the conservatives and Republican Party. Anyway, that was a really funny joke that I just explained. We love it. Sorry, your story. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. He was 50 years
Jesus.
old and found dead 20 years after his conviction. And then I just wanted to cite my sources. I got info from AP
Nerd
from the AP News, from KOBI 5 News, from a KUOW article by Conrad Wilson, and multiple San Francisco Gate articles by David Tuller, Stephen A. Chin, and Charles Barres, as well as Wikipedia kind of helped me find a lot of articles. And that is the deaths of Roxanne Ellis and Michelle Abdill and Scott George at the hands of Robert
Fucker
James
McGee.
Acremant. Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks.
Wow, you didn't lose it like
I didn't
only a
cry
little
too
bit,
much.
but like,
yeah. I
good
got
job. That was
choked up
really
a little bit
interesting.
there. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. I cried so hard while I was writing this so many times. I just kept getting these waves of like how sad this is. Like this
What
is these, you know, they had kids and grandkids and
What does it be? I mean, like, yes, but there's a lot of sad things that we see and hear on the news. What is it about this that sparks that?
I mean,
in you?
some of it just like it's very easy for me to remember, like to think back to that time and to remember what, you know, that time in the Pacific Northwest. And, you know, I was 17, 18 years old and I was going to school with skinheads and I was marching in anti-fascist rallies. And like, it felt like the threat felt real then. And like to read a story that like, yes, the threat was real. Like these activists, a grandmother, arguably grandmothers, you know, like had they been legally allowed to get married, I'm sure they probably, like, I can make probably a fair assumption that they would have. I mean, yeah, that they were murdered simply because they were lesbians, and this guy thought that was gross, and he was desperate for money, and his life was falling apart, and he kind of took that out. And, you know, this guy Scott maybe made a pass at him, maybe just revealed he was gay somehow or bi, and that was enough. Also, I'm an empathic metamorph, so this shit just like I get overtaken sometimes.
Don't get stuck as a falcon.
Okay. Why a falcon? Wow.
Oh, that's from Animorphs.
From what?
Animorphs.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Okay, cool. Do you want to take a break?
Is that like furry porn or
No. Animorphs.
Patreon
Sex.
segment from episode?
No, that's the book series by K. Something Applegate. And it's about people that we'll talk about it over the break. Do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where
Dan.
Kyle take a break.
We're back.
No.
Oh.
Are we back?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Are we back?
We're back. That's so natural. Yes. The answer is a yes. We are going to do our gayest and straightest. But first, oh, you do listen.
I'm right there.
But not necessarily mentally.
Yeah.
But first, Mike. So we said Mike is traveling, so he wanted to leave a little message for y'all, which you're going to hear right now.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm doing whatever dumb thing I'm doing. This is my voicemail. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck. Dun. Fuck you, Kyle. Blah.
Hi, I'm in Glasgow. I turned 41 like 2 hours ago here. I'm here with Kelly, who used to be my neighbor, but she moved away because she hates me. And with Fraser, who's from Scotland. Hi. Yeah, great.
Great. Just so everyone knows, we're all drunk. Sorry, Mike, I'm talking now.
No, good. Go.
We just went out to a couple bars that our friend Fraser took us to. Thank you, Fraser. He's the one who has the beautiful accent. He's also known as Scotty McCotty.
Mm-hmm.
Please see the Facebook group for the post from Mike of a photo of Scotty McCotty.
Yeah.
Also known as Fraser. Anyway.
Okay, at that random place, we saw a drag queen use a staple gun to staple banknotes to her flesh. And
American and British,
and she stapled a note to her tongue with a staple gun. That was fucked up.
And Michael, that's why we gave her $5.
Dan would love it.
Absolutely. Dan would love the fuck out of that shit.
So, for Michael Johnson's 41st birthday, we went next door to the Polo Lounge, and we made out. We got drinks and sat by the piano.
But I think we need to tell the listeners about Buckfast.
I don't know what Buckfast is. So it's wine, but it's also malted.
So it's caffeinated wine.
It's caffeinated.
It's caffeinated, yeah.
No
that's
wonder I was
why-
up until 8.
Exactly. So it's basically Scottish bum wine, but I would love for Fraser to describe it.
Buckfast is a tonic wine, which is...
What does tonic mean in this sense?
I don't actually know, but it's a concentrated wine, which is a higher level of alcohol than the normal regular wine. So it's the drink of choice for youngsters in Scotland.
And bums.
And occasionally, people never go out of their Buckfast phase and end up drinking it as adults.
Like Kyle. Kyle is definitely in the Buckfast phase.
Kyle.
Okay, great. I'm 41. Hooray.
We did rugby.
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
we'd have to
You did rugby.
No,
we
you
wa-
watched rugby.
We
Yeah.
watched it. And then we watched Fraser play.
Yeah,
rugby.
then Fraser had a match. He plays on a couple teams. He's actually very talented. Fraser is actually he's 6'6". So again, look at the photos when we post them on the Gayish.
Jamie Fraser.
Fraser. But he plays. There's actually a gay team that he plays as a part of, and also his county team, Falkirk.
It's
Tell us-
awesome.
Fraser, tell us about gay rugby.
What do you want to know?
It's gay and it's rugby.
So gay rugby is just like rugby, but it's gay. I mean,
But what is it? All the players are gay. Like, what kind of makes it?
so gay rugby is not gay rugby; it's inclusive rugby. So the team is filled with both gay and straight men, and also some trans men as well.
That's it. That's enough. Kyle has his hands full already.
See you later.
Bye, Kyle.
I'm 41 now. Happy birthday to me from Scotland. Enjoy the episode, whatever just happened, because
I hope I make it. I hope I make the cut, Kyle. Love you, man.
Fraser actually listens to the show. It's kind of crazy. Like, he knows way more about me than I know about him. I forget if I told you guys that while I've been in Scotland, so Dan and Kyle recorded an episode by themselves on Sunday. So I have no idea what's coming out tomorrow, but it's going to be.
You don't even know the topic.
Did-
Talk
I do. It's going to be about hate
Kyle
crimes.
mentioned.
Oh, maybe we should
he
talk
said-
about Scottish hate crimes.
He said Tyler is now replacing you. Did you know about that?
You're going to casting while I'm gone, and Hot Tyler is going to be.
Who's Tyler?
Actually, I know Tyler is.
Tyler's just generic American male name.
Oh, wow.
Or Chad. Tyler or Chad.
Yeah, or Cooper.
Oh, I love Cooper.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, thank you, Mike, for saying that stuff that you just said that I know about for sure before I edited this. Okay, so before we do our Gayest and Straightest, we've already upfucked this entire episode with our new, this style and format. So instead of doing all of our contact info, I just want to give a reminder of the not 3, but 4 R's.
We're upgrading.
We're
Upgrade. Level up.
Baby, let me upgrade. That's Beyonce. You're
I was
Sierra.
doing Ciara.
I
Yeah.
know. I only know about
Ciara.
that. Sierra?
Mrs. Russell Wilson.
Sierra Mist. So we would love you to, if you have not, to rate, review, subscribe, and recommend. So any of those things are very simple, quick, easy ways to help us out. If you like the stuff we're doing, it really helps us to get reviews on iTunes so that we show up for more people, or recommend to a friend that you think might like this. So we make our gayish community a little bit happier, a little
bigger.
a little bit bigger, a little bit happier.
We like it bigger.
We like it bigger. We like it happy. We like it friendly.
thick,
We like it
we like it
cozy.
long.
Okay. Well, you've diverged into, and you have a thing to say.
Oh yeah.
Which-
So we're gonna.
Dan, why am I reminding you of this? You have to both
I'm a
co-host
failure.
and production assist simultaneously.
So you're gonna get annoyed with us asking for this.
No,
but,
you won't. They love it.
They love us. So we're fast approaching episode 150, and if you've been listening since the beginning or you binged us, you know
I'm
that
so sorry.
At episode 50, the guys did a Q&A. For episode 100, we did the Q&A crazy live thing.
Yeah. That was your first episode,
That
right?
was my first episode.
Aww.
Yeah. That's when you guys got stuck with me.
Yay.
And so 150 is following in that pattern. We're going to do a Q&A, but it's going to take the form of kind of a quiz show, newlywed game sort of thing, where we're going to ask Kyle trivia questions about Mike, and we're going to ask Mike trivia questions about Kyle. And maybe for Patreon, we'll be asking both of them trivia questions about me. So,
I didn't know that.
New idea.
Just now? Oh my God, you are Mike. You're dropping a new idea on us
No,
just right
I had
here?
thought about it, but I'm responsible for the Patreon segment, so I figure I should.
God.
Yeah, I thought that'd be fun, maybe.
Taking a...
See which of you knows me better.
Yeah, I like
we'll
that.
We'll get a buzzer. I don't know. Probably not. That's a lot of work.
Okay, no, we won't do that, but we'll just go, and that's going to be really fucking annoying. I like that idea.
Yeah, so we need your help. And so we thought it'd be great if listeners could send them to fuckingdan@gayishpodcast.com. Or if you don't like to type, dan@gayishpodcast.com, because that's fewer characters, I understand. But send them just to me. Don't send them to the guys, and so that only I see them.
Yeah, we won't know the questions going into the episode, so that's Dan will just we actually set up an email for this specific purpose, so we really hope you take advantage of it, and we won't know the questions until Dan, you tell us them on 150.
Yeah, so the idea was for like maybe things that they should know about each other that have come up in the episodes that you know the answer to. Some people are taking it as like asking questions that like nobody, like I don't know the answer to,
and just see how well we know each other. I don't remember the shit we've talked about, so that'll be interesting. Just at that alone.
Kyle doesn't remember anything.
Oh, sorry.
He has like a little bracelet that has his address on it. To make sure he gets home.
Please bring me home if I'm not conscious.
That checks out.
Yeah. Yep. You've been there.
Yeah. So send those to fuckingdan@gayishpodcast.com, and if you're welcome to send me other stuff too. Some people have been sending me really sweet notes and like personal stuff, and like I've connected with one of our listeners, and like we bonded over something, and it's really cool. And like I made a new friend, and I'm like. Not like Mike makes new friends with listeners, but
not that kind of friend.
Not that friend. So we also each have an email address that you can send us individually if you want to, and mine is dan@gayishpodcast.com or fuckingdan@gayishpodcast.com.
Do I have one?
Kyle at gayishpodcast.com.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Mike at gayishpodcast. So they're fairly intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike is spelled with a Q. You figure out where. It's silent. It's a silent. It's Q. Mike. Do you want to do our gayest and straightest?
Let's do our gayest and straightest.
Okay. Fucking Dan, why don't you go first? I want to know what you have to say.
All right. So, there you go. So my straightest thing this week.
Wait, this is the first time you've done this.
I did it once before, I think.
Oh, really?
Maybe on that 100th episode. I don't know. But it's been a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys don't let me do this.
Nope, we don't. We keep you real quarantined.
Yeah. Although I thought, me full of ideas. We've talked about doing a polyamory episode at some point with me and like a bunch of
all of your boyfriends.
Well,
it's going to be a 10-hour episode, 5 minutes each.
We're going to buy a lot more microphones.
Yes.
Anyway, I thought it might be fun for that to do our like most monogamous and most polyamorous thing of the week.
Man, you're just using this opportunity to drop so many different ideas that then we'll have to do because you said
Once
it.
It's on air, except you're editing. You can edit.
That's
me
true.
You want.
I'm just gonna
rearrange all my words.
No, I think it's just gonna be me on this episode.
Kyle and Mike.
If you hear me not talking to anyone, it's because I literally edited out all of Dan. This is just me in this episode.
Fair.
Okay, anyway.
So bought a house back in July, and I've been, as one of my big first projects, I've been framing a wall. And it has a big garage. They took the original garage, and then from like the 40s, and they added a 2-car garage in front of it. So it's a big space. Most of it's gonna be my workshop and some storage. But in the very back, I decided to frame up a wall. I've been hanging drywall. I've been insulating. I put in and then I put in what I call a Scooby-Doo wall. So there's like a door that's hinged, not on the edge, but like partway in. So you have to like move a secret latch, and that
Oh my God, you have a secret door? That's so
I watched
cool.
a lot of Scooby-Doo as a kid and in college, well, on hallucinogens and as an adult. I just love, like, I went to the Sarah Winchester Mystery House as a kid, and like in California, and it's fucking insane. And there's like, you know, doors that go to nowhere and stairwells that go up to the ceiling and don't go anywhere. And like, I just love like weird stuff like that. And I love what I call a Scooby-Doo wall, like a secret door. And this one's not a bookcase, but it just, if I do it right, it should just look like part of a big pegboard wall full of tools. But one of those tools, when you turn it, unlatches the door, and if you press in the right spot, it opens up.
Oh my God, just like you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna put in there in your secret room?
So my gayest thing is the secret room.
Excited.
It's my dungeon play space.
Okay, I mean, I wanted nothing more than you to say that, so thank you for.
So there's already a sling hanging from the rafters. I'm gonna be putting like a full-size bed with like play sheets and, you know,
play sheets. Are they like latex or something?
They're like waterproof sheets. Yeah. And then I don't know what else. I don't know what else I want in there. I don't know if I want a secret chair. I'm not as into
Did you see I posted
activity.
posted a picture of a chair that looked like it had a hole like started in the middle that was like sitting outside the church that's by me. So if you need the makings of a fun secret chair,
there you go.
LMK.
Right on the side of the road.
Right by the dumpster of a church.
Big fatty.
Big
Come
fatty.
And get it.
I did. I posted that on Twitter and was like, did you lose this?
What about you?
Oh my God.
What were your
such a good lady. And it's like you've been hosting this whole time. So
I host plenty.
Do you? It's a difficult thing in Seattle. The gayest thing is I was chatting with, I feel like this is a very uniquely gay experience, and you can help confirm or deny. I was talking to this guy on Grindr, which I was like, you are so attractive that I have to have sex with you. I was like kind of waffling if like I want to do it, but I was like, no, like you're too attractive for me to pass up this opportunity. That's a whole other issue, I'm sure. But, and then I was like, okay, what's the address? Here, cool. What's the room number? What should I do when I get there? And he's like, oh, by the way, can you make a reservation on this link? So like ended up being, I didn't do anything from there, but presumably a sex worker.
Oh.
So I like it's not catfished. It's like
right.
Dogfished, or I don't know. Like
he was.
We got all the way to like
you.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then I felt shitty. I was like, but he's so hot. Like, of course, someone that hot wouldn't actually want to like.
Don't go down that road.
It's too late. That road has already been traveled. The road
you have banged plenty of hot dudes.
That's true.
I've watched you make out with hot dudes.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you've told me about it later.
Yes.
Okay. The straightest thing about me, I mean, so I got a haircut on Monday, and there's so many.
Great.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Tell me more about what you like about it.
It's so much more in control than when we were.
Yeah. Okay. That's part of the thing is like, I did not plan ahead to do this before I was going to record video of me and see Davey Wavy in person and go to a sex hotel. Like it was after that I was like, yeah, I should probably do that. And also when I sit down in the chair, I'm like, do whatever. And she's like, okay. Like she just like, I don't give her any instructions.
You give her carte blanche to like just
It didn't start that way. She was the reason she's a really good hairstylist is when I first met her, she was like, okay, like I told her what I was thinking. She's like, okay, and told me every step of the way. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's like
this hair. Is that okay?
1, 2,
so
2,
much consent.
2. It took 17 hours, but it was.
So now,
I trust her.
You just have blanket consent with her. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like me with some people. Yeah.
It's like my ex boyfriend Jay-Z, who I was just like, if I'm asleep, you can fuck me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know how like I have like a key in a lockbox that like a whole bunch of people know the code to. And come to my house and they can get the key and come in my house and
start the episode over. This is what we're talking about. Keys and lockboxes. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's been used. Yeah. Not at my new place, but when I lived in the duplex, like I once woke up in the middle of the night with someone on top of me and I didn't know who it was, and then just my like underwear were pulled down and like I got fucked and a load put in me, and then like my underwear pulled back up and like they left.
Wow, that's
it was
hot.
like dark and and I know it's one of a certain number of people, and once the dick's in me, I'm like, oh, I know who it is.
Yeah. Your butt is like a little bit. Oh, hey, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, it's like uncut. It's coach. If it's curved, big and curved a certain way, it's big bro. If it's got a PA, it's daddy. Like
Yeah. Okay, now this is something I'm going to do from now on. Is I'm going to be reading listener Gayest and Straightest because you all. This is one of my favorite things. You all post so often on all of the variety of medium, like your Gayest and Straightest, and I love it so much. So what?
Just want to make sure when we do this. So this is a new thing we're gonna do.
Like regularly,
leave it on voicemail, send it in text.
Yes.
Put it
put it in Discord. Put it on the Facebook group. Like,
however, Discord and the Facebook group are kind of a Facebook group in particular is a closed community. And we don't want to out anybody from those things. So I want to make sure we're careful about that.
We will not say your name if it's in the Facebook group or the Discord. If you post it to some kind of public place, like on Twitter.
If you send it, if it's in public, or if you send it
on voicemail,
or voicemail. Like, if you want to hear your voice on the air, leave your Gayest and Straightest in voicemail. We would love that.
Yeah.
Like, help us out if you want. Like, you can use this, or if you're putting it, if you like putting it in the Facebook group, or you like putting it in the, because there's even a channel for Gayest and Straightest in Discord.
There is.
Let us know, like, okay to use this, so that we can protect people's
privacy.
Yeah.
You did not stall long enough for me to find one because I didn't do this in advance. Dan, this is the real when the real tap dancing starts. Go.
Yeah, and maybe we should start. I like the idea of it coming in different forms, but I was like, maybe we could start a specific email for Gayest and Straightest that like always send it to that. Mike seems to be able to do that shit real fast, but I don't know. I'm not going to sign him up for shit while he's...
No, now's the time.
...gallivanting around.
I would like
wherever.
To sign Mike up to fuck one listener every week for the next year, 2020.
That's 52 listeners. I think
we have at least 52 listeners.
Now that he's like back in the saddle.
Wink. Okay. All right, so this is one that was posted in our Discord server, which people have been asking about the link. We're trying our best to make it a little bit more obvious, but it's on the website by the other social media. It's in the Facebook group pinned to the top. So in the Gayest and Straightest channel in our Discord server, I'm just reading the two most recent ones that someone's Gayest recently is that they just started a trial for their skincare routine. I got a month sample of exfoliator, a charcoal cleanser, and a moisturizing balm. A little strange to do considering I've never used anything like it before, but my face feels nice and clean. Aww. Skincare's gay.
It's pretty gay.
Yeah.
Although... people ask me, like, why do you look so young for your age?
Oh.
And I say, I'm greasy as fuck. I don't moisturize. I barely use sunscreen, but I'm oily. Like,
Does that help?
I put Daddy's nephew on my shoulders when we were at Disneyland, and he put his hand on my head, and he's like, you're oily. I'm like, yeah.
Thanks, small child.
Checks out.
And then... someone else before that said, can't think of a Gayest at the moment, but this would definitely be my Straightest, and sent a picture of a 30-pack of Tecate, which I think is beer. It looks beer-like.
It's like Corona.
Yeah. Yep. That is. Those
I think
are.
It comes in cans, which makes it straighter.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a Mexican lager.
One
of the only.
I hooked up with a Mexican lager once. Which those are. Perfect Gayest and Straightest. Thank you for sharing. You're all gay and straight no matter what you say or do. So just remember that. And thank you so much for listening. Dan, thank you for guest co-hosting. We really appreciate it.
Thanks to Dan.
Special thanks to yourself. And I don't know. Thank you to everyone that's been hate crimed. I don't know. But thanks for listening. And that's fucking Dan. I don't know how to do this now without Mike. That's fucking Dan. I'm Kyle Getz.
Oh.
Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. That works, right?
Stay sexy and don't get hate crimes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Interesting. I have not touched this water next to me. Only the wine. Jesus can't tell the difference.